This is my practice speech on capital punishment. How many of you think it's wrong to kill another person? Well, last year, 52 people were killed in the United States because the government decided that they should be put to death. Capital punishment is an immoral and wrong way to punish criminals. And today I hope to show you why. First, let's discuss the history. Many countries and states for decades have been using capital punishment. It was first brought over to the U.S. by Britain. When the British colonies came over to Virginia in 1607, they taught us the idea of capital punishment. Sorry. And it's been around in Western Europe since before Christ era. Unfortunately, it caught on a year later. A captain was killed by a firing squad, according to the Death Penalty Info Service. Since then, many states have adopted capital punishment, and currently today, 36 out of the 50 states use it in their judicial system. Some of the main reasons of having capital punishment are 1, to bring justice, 2, because they think it's cheaper, and 3, to deter others from committing crimes. So we ask, is it really fulfilling its purpose? The author of Death Penalty Today, Bohm, asked 43 experts if they thought that capital punishment deters crime. 79% of them said in their opinion, no, it does not. And many were insistent in responses in their interview, saying it does not deter crime. One said that the research strongly suggests that capital punishment has little deterrence value. Most murderers are not rational people who think out their actions. Moreover, many murderers give little care about living or dying. In fact, the research suggests that the death penalty may actually increase violent crime. And every other interview was similar to that one. So now we have one of the first main reasons refuted. The second reason for capital punishment is it keeps the cost low. They think that a death row inmate will spend less time in prison than a prisoner life in prison without parole. And yes, in some way that is true, because eventually they will be put to death if they haven't been taken out of the system, rather than someone who's in prison who could be there for up to 50 years. Money is not the only... Taxpayers' money doesn't only go to housing, however. Taxpayers' money is increased for a person on capital punishment because the Constitution requires a long and complex judicial process for capital cases, according to the book America's Experience with Capital Punishment. In Florida, it costs $51 million a year more than holding someone on life without parole. $51 million. In North Carolina, 43 people have been put to death in 34 years, and it has cost $2.16 million per execution. In Maryland, in 20 years, there were only 5 executions that totaled $186 million. And lastly, in California, taxpayers paid $114 million beyond the cost of imprisoning convicts with life without parole, and has cost $250 million per execution. These are just 4 examples of high costs of death penalty, according to the data from capital punishment in the judicial process. Currently, according to the Death Penalty Info website, there are 3,261 inmates on death row. And to think of the millions of dollars that is going towards ending their life instead of going towards a better use. Since there are so many processes, there's more money going into a capital punishment case. And every capital punishment case is appealed at least 2 times, which just adds to the money that has to be paid for capital punishment. And a normal appeal takes 15 to 20 years. which is 15 to 20 years we have to pay for an inmate who's supposed to be in the system for a shorter period of time to save money, but really has to be in there for at least 15 to 20 years just waiting to hear their fate. This is another main reason that is refuted, and it's not less money to pay for life without parole. It's less money to pay for life without parole than it is for capital punishment, is what that just taught us. Lastly, we discussed justice. Is capital punishment really giving justice? There's a movie, Dead Man Walking, which is about capital punishment, and in the movie, a mother is explaining to her daughter the idea of capital punishment. She says, well, Bill killed Steve, so the government decides to kill Bill for killing Steve. And rightfully so, the girl asks, then who kills the government? That's a question I've asked myself many times thinking about capital punishment. We've been taught by family, by people we don't know, we've learned from a young age, ending someone else's life is wrong, and it's not okay. And yet, the government says, well, we're going to kill you because you killed someone else, or did something else that was completely wrong and justified, quote-unquote, justified capital punishment. Isn't this also just hypocritical? Another thing that we're taught is not right. So if we took every single case that's in the judicial system, every case, no matter what it is, and used the system an eye for an eye, where would we be? And that's one of the last reasons refuted, is it's not okay for the government to be hypocritical and kill someone because they killed someone else. The last thing that I wanted to bring up is, how do we know all these people really did commit these crimes? Since 1973, 130 people were taken off death row due to wrongful convictions. And there are currently no numbers showing how many people have actually already died who were innocent as well. Probably because, one, the court does not want to admit what happened, but there are still many sources that say people for sure have been killed when they were innocent, and they've been proven innocent years later. As we discussed, the death penalty is wrong. It's immoral. It's not okay to do. It doesn't cost less money than life in prison without parole. There's no justice because the government is just being completely hypocritical. And experts and researchers have confirmed many times it does not deter crime. In fact, many think that it does the opposite of deter crime. And I, for one, have never and will never be pro-death penalty, and I don't understand why any of our judicial systems have it, and think it should be eliminated immediately. Thanks.